Hi Chent, how are we?
I'm good, man. Yourself?
Not too bad. Today I'm going to be asking you questions that people don't usually ask me. Are we ready?
Always.
Take me back to a time when you knew that there was no plan B for you. Like when you realized you had to cut the rope and it's this journey or nothing for you.
There's honestly multiple times, but the first one that comes to mind was I just try to change my life, get out of life of trouble. Like went all into a career in civil engineering, and I just could see my future. 8 months into it, I was going in a direction where I saw the next 40 years of my life. And it just wasn't me. It was almost like, do I just sign up to be miserable or do I go all in on something that is not guaranteed? And I sat on that decision for a while, but every subtle action I took led to another door opening. And I found just diving into initially the fitness industry at that time was the thing that was bending the boats. But then it got even deeper, right? I built up a successful business in the fitness industry, personal trainer. And then I had this tech startup, smart glasses, and bending the boats again, a technology that's not even out, that still is not even at the level that we envisioned. But that's again where I knew I had to bend the boats. But every time I did, I almost found myself on the other side. And that always led to something. So multiple times of bending the boats, but I would say leaving a stable career, then leaving a stable fitness business. It's always been about leaving stability and leaving comfort.
So for you, it was stability, but would you remember the exact moment in life where that light bulb came in and I'm not doing this? This is not for me. I'm about to do something controversial when it comes to family and like background and culture and all of that. To push past that is not easy. And what was that moment that led you to go past?
Go all in. Yeah, man, it's crazy. On this entrepreneurial path, whether it's some new technology or starting your own business, you're going to be misunderstood for the longest, especially if you're pioneering that pathway and your parents or friends have a community, no one's done it, right? So I was being told to be realistic for the longest time. I'm talking like 3-4 years straight. Family didn't understand me, friends didn't understand me. At that time, I was 27, turning 28. When are you starting a family, stable career, etc.? As I kept following the vision and our innovation won glasses at the time, won a French Innovation Prize, got a ticket to France, sitting in front of the Eiffel Tower, that was my moment where I'm like, if this wasn't real, I would not have been flown to the other side of the globe.
We all have opinions when it comes to our industry. What is an opinion that you have about the industry you're in that you don't put on the feed, but something you believe in that you've not put out, and why don't you?
Opinion I would share is that entrepreneurship is not made for everybody, and I'm saying less than 0.1%. Majority of people that I see online launch that new business, etc., they're gonna fail. And I don't share that because hope and envisioning the best case scenario is gonna improve your chances by whatever. But let's just being real. Beautiful entrepreneur that really highlights this is Andy Frisella. It's grown a couple of multi-billion-dollar enterprises, but it's not for everybody. And whenever I come across somebody that has a lot of good momentum, I love to jump in to put that positive pressure on them and test them, because majority will fail. Majority just revert back to a paying job. But the sad part, man, is everybody has that power to create a solution for the world that can change the world, shape the world, etc. But it will destroy you in the process. It's literally soul-sucking path of entrepreneurship, and you got to be conditioned if you ever want to even just have any hope of making it.
This is a very personal but also hard-hitting question. In this path to greatness that we are all on, what did this path cost you that no one sees, that no one's comfortable talking about?
It's cost me, in ways, without context, it's cost me family, it's cost me friends, it's cost me relationships, it's cost me myself, it's cost me sanity, it's cost me stability, it's cost me money. And what I really mean by that is on the path to materializing whatever your vision is, your company, you're taking your product to market, whatever, this calling in you, right? You're gonna have to put to rest certain visions of yourself and everything that connects with that vision of you. So you're forced endlessly to really assess who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, the cost is never going to be worth it. There's a certain version of me that still is connected to certain friends. But here's the thing, right? If you're doing it for a true reason, you'll never lose what's true. You'll never lose what's actually real to you. So even though I've lost friends, I'm also have lost ways we connect. They're still friends, there's still a mutual respect. Same with family. but had to learn how to draw boundaries or become a version of myself where the boundaries are drawn for me.
How did, especially for something that a lot of people can relate to, especially from our culture, how did losing the family part of that in the come up really affect you?
Man, honestly, even still, right? There's a certain ideology, especially Indian, Asian, etc. There's a certain pathway that's already set for you in life. The classic doctor, engineer, lawyer, etc. I think the easy part is just getting past your parents, or even that itself is a hurdle. But then sometimes getting past your siblings, getting past the people you grow up with, your cousins, your family. Sometimes the people that are in your circle at your age, they're all just part of the system of they got the medical degree, they've got the kid, the family, the marriage coming up, and then you're looked at as the black sheep, the anomaly.
Absolutely.
And when you look at that, you actually question yourself, what the fuck am I actually doing? Is this actually right? And navigating that is very isolating. It can be very depressive as well. You actually go into your whole place of darkness where you have to figure out, is this really true and is this really you? And I feel like that is the path. You have to figure that shit out.
Yeah.
So choosing this path actually beautifully puts you in position to see if you're actually really made for it. Man,
Definitely, definitely.
you can relate to that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. What did you believe about growth that, or being the guy with the audience, that you no longer believe? What's changed?
I had a podcast maybe yesterday that I think beautifully, first thing that comes to mind is like, attention is not currency, like trust is currency. Oh, man, I used to always wonder how to just get the eyeballs, get the audience. And I used to understand, I started to meet people, right? Millions of followers, broke, right? And then I would meet people, 2,000 followers, multimillionaire. And then I started to see the disconnect in it, right? So it's not just about getting eyeballs, it's about the kind of eyeballs you're attracting and what, when I say, I don't like saying conversion mechanism, getting it all into a fucking system.
Yeah.
But let's be real though, what do you even do? Really understanding, having a product that you really stand by, understanding the worth and the value of that product, and then understanding the kind of eyeballs that product should be in front of strategically and with the marathon play in mind as well, because you can make a ton of money in a short period of time and not retain any of it.
Absolutely.
You see a lot of the $100,000 in a month guys don't last. So what I really believe now, to summarize, is that trust is the real currency and sustainability over long term, like the marathon is the game. Like how are you going to survive in 10 years in this pathway? And it really does come down to trust and reputation and not just attention.
And I think that's something that you taught me as well. Putting a foundation up for the important part and not quick.
Because the foundation done right, man, everything will just evolve on top of it as you grow over the years. But if it's not right, man, you chase trends, you get a big influx of traffic, you go viral, say, then what happens in the next season? You're a nobody again, and then you almost got to start from scratch.
Absolutely. The industry built on romanticizing the grind culture, the hustle culture, the journey, the founder story. And where have you fallen for it yourself, or where have you stopped?
So, man, I wouldn't have ever jumped into entrepreneurship if it wasn't for that fantasy. When I first started, Instagram was just pictures, and it was the two black Lamborghinis parked in this black house with a black helipad and a black, and I was like, fuck, that's possible, wow. And then I fell for it. I fell for it, and I really also fell for the startup founder, the social network story, where it's like you're just coding with a couple of friends and then it becomes $1 billion company, and then you just ride off into the sunset. I think I went too far to be able to quit. I bet all my chips on it, and then I realized what I realized, which is, man, it's literally like a 10, 20-year journey for you to learn what you need to learn to build $1 billion company, let alone a multi-million-dollar company.
Yeah.
But once I realized all these hard truths, and that was just going on the field and failure, like pitching, getting rejected, flying across the world to an expo thinking that we're going to get the biggest deal of our life. We don't. We come back empty-handed. Really thinking this next streamlined model with ads is going to be the thing that just unlocks this revenue engine forever, lasting about a month and then not working after that. After all of these dead ends, I was like, fuck, this is tiring. And it's something you actually have to upkeep forever. And that's when the facade dropped. It's not like a point you get to where it's like that. And usually that point takes you 20 years. And that's why I say overnight success takes it.
That's so true. And importantly, most importantly, this is a question that I'm always keen to ask people, is what is it that you romanticize about what you do? What's, for you, what is that, like, this is absolutely why I'm passionate about it.
Like almost what turns me on with what I do right now.
That's it,
Yeah.
that's it, that's exactly
Yeah,
what it
brother.
is.
Honestly, man, it's having a conversation with somebody. And ironically, this has nothing to do with the apps or anything. It's when I have a conversation with a somebody and that spark in their eye. It's like I can see into their eye of them seeing the vision for themselves and believing it. And it's interesting, man, because I thought, okay, let me do that for as many people as I can. Let me speak on stage. It's not the same as when I'm one-to-one. I realize just that one-to-one moment where I activate that somebody doesn't even matter. Like, of course I would want that somebody to become the next whatever, but knowing that I have that gift and being able to give it regardless of how busy I am, and there's people at different stages. Doesn't matter if you're already making $1 million, whatever, or you're just starting off. Sometimes I'll catch up with the 18-year-old, 17-year-old kid, and he's just like, can I pick your brain? Of course there's boundaries I gotta draw, but it's just that moment where I speak life into somebody and activate that something that, and I recognize it because that's what I used to have. I used to watch these other guys with that same sort of glisten in my eye, and I'm able to see it in another person's eye now.
Founders up close every week. Speak to them, you have conversations with them, you observe them. What's a mistake that you see in almost all of them, especially the younger founders that are starting off, and that they still don't know that's a mistake, or something you even saw in me at the start?
I would say this, and I'm guilty of this mistake too. I would say you're building. What are you actually building, right?
Yeah.
You could be actually doing something right now, but everybody's on a journey. And of course, it does take time. But usually I see the ones that do make it, the journey is moments of just extreme action. Just even this session, right? We talked about it and we made it happen.
Absolutely.
So then if you think about how long it was from ideation to production, that was less than a week.
Yep.
Where people would plan, man, I'm going to do this. I'm going to start to do content series. It's May right now. I'm thinking like July, August, September setup. We're thinking, why don't we do it next week? That's what is missing. It's almost like we don't give ourselves permission because that really challenges the root of where your belief is really at. If you really believe you're going to be that guy, you should be knocking on that door tomorrow and either making it work or learning why it didn't work and then addressing that with another action and another action. So it's just this whole thing of journey, but low key is just avoidance based on your lack of belief.
Walk me through the moment when you came closest to leaving all of this behind. What was the moment that almost broke you, but you still kept going? What was that moment that you almost thought, I was like, nah, fuck this shit, I'm out?
Man, that's a really good question. I would probably say as recent as last year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Why is because everything that I thought I wanted, I achieved to some extent, or I saw the truth in it. I had this big dream of tech founder, Dubai, etc. I had achieved that to an extent, everything to an extent, right? Because it's not actually what it seemed, right? But then I saw the truth in it. So it's almost like I checkmated all of my fantasies, and now I'm back in Melbourne now, not even Auckland, New Zealand, where I'm originally from. And I also then thought, okay, it's like a family and a woman and a relationship, etc. So then I thought I found that person, I found the reflection. But that then highlighted something in me where that relationship even came to an end. And I lost myself for a moment in that relationship. So then at that lowest point again, it's just like, why do I want to build myself back up to a fantasy that I don't believe anymore? It's almost like I couldn't see any way through. And that then led me to honestly starting to look at senior business advisory jobs that just pay 250K, 300K. And I'm like, yeah, I've experienced these finer things. I can be sweet off that. That was my most recent and biggest moment where I was actually looking at jobs, like a career. And I was done with entrepreneurship because it's grueling. And I was just like, I just don't have it in me anymore as I thought. But now 7 days out from another public launch, I'm fucking built momentum again. It's crazy how things just turn around.
Out of that journey that a lot of people don't understand. It's like they see the fast cars. For a little kid watching this, my fantasy was, fast cars, traveling, all of that stuff. Yeah, yes, that's achievable. But something that we don't speak about enough is what it takes behind closed doors to actually even get close to that, or even to understand that you can touch that.
Yeah.
The amount of tremendous mental fortitude that you need to go through or build to achieve that.
And I will say this, right? Those moments are just moments. Keep in mind, like the fast car highlight you saw, right? That was 30 seconds of somebody's 24 hours. And let's just say, okay, he's driving this car all day. Yeah, cool, but you're not driving for 24 hours. There's things in between. You're driving to things. What are those things you're driving to? meetings where everything is on the line and you're having to make a fucking decision. So usually when you're driving the car, you're not like, oh, this is so awesome. You're thinking about the meeting you were just at and thinking about the meeting that's coming up next and thinking about your wife, your kids and everything, etc. And a flight you got coming up and your jet lag from the last flight. That's the reality of it. There's a pace to it. And it's just like, if you can handle that pace, you can move with quality and at a certain standard, but you got to really condition yourself to a pace and then see at what pace do you actually normalize at. So I've found my pace. I thought this was the pace for me, but I'm actually somewhere over here, but I'm definitely not this. So I'm realizing this arc now, the pace I'm at, what does my quality of life look like at this pace, etc.
You've built an audience,
We'll figure it out in a second.
and most people in your seat soften the work to keep growing. What's your line? The thing you won't do for the algorithm or a check. What are those principles?
I feel like it's the opposite. If you were building an audience and playing the long game for the right reason, I'll throw someone under the bus. Someone I really looked up to, American powerlifter Larry Wheels. I really admired him because of the feats of strength that he achieved. And he's just selling himself out on kick, etc., making him look like a simp and like a joke. And I'm just like, he's going to probably learn this later on in life, like maybe 5 years down the line. But I think that's the benefit of the fact that it's taken me this long, being 36 years old, and I really started online exploring 23, 24. So like 12 years later. And I'm not a million followers or anything, but I built some form of a name, some form of an audience, some form of a reputation. The fact that it's taken me this long, and also my past, there's certain things around code, character, morals, values that I would never cross, even if it cost me everything. So that's the difference for me, is I can't be bought. And there's a certain line that I can never cross. And I don't care about losing everything and starting from scratch, because I start as me. I start as who I am now. And that can never be sold or lost or bought.
That's one of those things that we actually own in this life. Forget the materialistic things. Our word or our principles are the things that we truly...
That's the real IP, man. That's the real asset. Yeah. That's what you bring to every room. That's what I also realized, man. The real partnership, the real long-term investments and whatnot, they're looking at character. Do I want to put my chips and marry my empire with this person's empire for the long term?
Yeah.
And if you're a man that can be sold or bought or sell out or chase attention and trend like a groupie, I'm not going to align my most important assets with that.
Absolutely. What do you believe about your future that you're embarrassed to pull out at a dinner party?
Yeah, I'm not really embarrassed, but this is really close to it, is, bro, I'm going to make the best girl dad. Best girl dad, like tea parties and fucking makeup parties and all of that. Because I really can't wait to raise a daughter.
Yeah.
And just make her feel... just be a very strong, healthy example of a male, vulnerability and everything, but the real example of what I believe a man should be. So I can't wait to be that girl dad with zero fucks. That's my thing.
That is money. Oh, yeah. That's beautiful. This thing you're building, it's changing you in ways that the 13-year-old you would not have imagined. Who are you becoming? And is that person the person you thought you'd be or wanted and you always wanted to be?
It's gonna sound so fucking cliche, but I'm actually becoming an entrepreneur. I wouldn't consider, actually no, I consider myself an entrepreneur, but I'm actually truly becoming an entrepreneur. And what is my definition of an entrepreneur? Someone like Mount Doom where Sauron is, like that level of just fortification. Yeah. I just really see myself being conditioned and crystallized year after year after, and it's grueling, but I can understand the most beautiful diamonds, what they go through now. So I'm seeing myself become this version of me. My business partner said this to me, and he's extremely successful and grounds me in a lot of ways. It's like, we've pivoted this current platform and software. This guy had coffee with me in 2020, and he asked me what my dream is, what my vision is. And I said, I want to build something that impacts 2 billion lives, because that's a quarter of the population, and that's also how many users Facebook has. So if Facebook, a software company, can influence a quarter of the population, why don't we? And why don't we do it in a way where it's not cat memes and fighting videos, but something that expands the mind? Yeah. And that was enough for him to bet on me and become an angel investor in me as well. So he started feeding us capital, and we just put every idea to market. It started with a metaverse, self-development world, and vibrational app, and then a meditation app, and then a blockchain product that the more you consume and you learn, we pay you in tokens. Yep. So we've rode all of these sort of tech waves, and now it's come into an AI platform. I do all my coaching consulting calls. Last week we were on a call, and he said, this tech guy that you envisioned, do you realize that with every pivot you're becoming him? And I was like, fuck, you're right. Because I was starting to like, man, these sprints are grueling. Building these platforms are grueling. I'm feeling zapped and exhausted and having a little cry to my partner here and there. And when he said that to me, I realized it was the journey. It's the journey that I signed up for. So I could have never imagined who I'm becoming. It's very different to who I thought I'd be. I thought I'd be this flashy guy with the fast cars, the epitome of ego, right? And then I've matured through life to actually be really proud of who I'm becoming and continuing to, because I feel like a baby. There's so much more conditioning I need to go through. When we get company launched and valuated and an exit and an IPO, I haven't gone through that process at that caliber yet. What does a 10, 11 figure IPO look like? I'm not that guy yet, or else I would be there. So I'm excited to condition myself into that guy and just really here for the fucking journey, man, to be honest.
For the next 24 months, and it all works. What does that actually buy you? Not money, not the title, not the thing under that. What will be able to buy?
It's funny. It's going to sound like I planned this answer, but not. Ironically, like my startup is called Presence here.
Yeah.
It buys me presence.
Yeah.
It buys me presence because the two things I value the most in the next 24 months is proposing to my partner, getting married, and
She knows about this, so
yeah, she knows about it. Yeah, she doesn't know how. She knows I always got something on my sleeve. Having my first child.
beautiful.
Maybe second, we'll see, right?
Yeah.
But those three things, what's the use if you're not present for your child? I want to be fully present as much as possible for every phase. And like, I'm a very grounded, present guy, but I can also see still moments of like where I'm pushing towards, ironically, building Presence, the app, where I'm frustrated and then now I get a quality moment with my partner, but I'm not even there mentally.
Yeah.
And like when we communicate, and even for her, right? She's building her empire in her own way. And we have moments where we're like, okay, we're stressed, we're under pressure, but this is conditioning us and preparing us for parenthood, for fatherhood, for motherhood, for this next season of our life.
To end us off, most importantly, going back, we're going to go back to 13-year-old self. If there was something a lesson you could teach or a story you could tell that person, Chent, 13,
Yes.
what would it be?
I would say, stop being so fucking scared, man.
Yes.
Stop being a bitch, but
Yeah.
but like actually though, it's like fear is normal, man, and it's healthy. Everybody's scared. I'm scared with every next move, but build a better relationship with fear. Become more familiar with the bodily sensations of fear. Your heart will start racing. It will feel like there's a little bit of like sickness over here. Am I really gonna do this? Your mind would race. You want to shut off from the world. This is what fear is. But for a long time, and then as I started to get less scared because life fucking just slapped me around, I would dip my finger in the water and realize like I didn't die, and then I would become more. So now it's almost like, to an element, I have a much more deeper relationship, a healthier relationship with fear. I understand it. I understand its role in evolution, in evolving yourself and rapid growth. Fear is the major ingredient.
Yeah.
And to some extent, I chase fear now, every single day. That's why I'm such advocate of the gym. I'm gonna train after this, and I generally think, okay, what's gonna probably break me mentally today? Let's go for that.
Yeah.
And not in some sadistic way, but strategically. Strategically chase fear.
Yeah. Thank you, Chent.
Pleasure.
I appreciate it.